What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another FPL video on the channel. And in today's one, we are looking at my Game Week 14 team selection. But before we do get into that, a quick update on how we performed in Game Week 13. As you guys can see, we managed to get a huge score of 87 points, which meant I got a green arrow up to 1.2 million, which is really nice. Of course, we did take a huge minus 12 point hit, and it actually paid off massively as we gained points by taking that hit, which is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, things are looking good at the moment. Hopefully this is a sign of good things to come, but I'm not going to spend time talking about Game Week 13 because I did just post a reaction video to that to Game Week 13 yesterday. So if you want to see my thoughts on that, then make sure you guys check out the last video. But with that being said, guys, let's waste no more time and let's have a look at my confirmed transfer for Game Week 14. Alright guys, so as you can see on your screens right now, this is my confirmed transfer for Game Week 14. I've taken out Bryan Mbeumo and I've brought in Jarrod Bowen. For me, it was just the right moment in time to take out Bryan Mbeumo. When you look at the fixtures coming up for Brentford, it really just seems like a time to bet against someone with such high ownership. As you guys can see right here, man, Bryan Mbeumo's got 36.9% ownership, which is really high, and the upcoming fixtures on paper, in my opinion, aren't necessarily that great. Aston Villa, Newcastle, Chelsea, Forest, Brighton, Arsenal, Southampton's good, but then it's Man City and Liverpool. So when you look at the long-term stretch of fixtures, I'm not really a fan, and for that reason I do want to get rid of Bryan Mbeumo. But also, it's not just because of the fixtures. When you look at his form from an FPL perspective, it doesn't look good. He's only got 2 goals in his last 6 game weeks, but also in that time he's only managed to rack up an expected goals of 1.04, which is absolutely shocking, guys, especially when you consider the fact that part of the XG is from a penalty he took against Ipswich, right? So his non-penalty expected goals isn't good, and as you guys can see is here, right, 0.25 in the last 6 game weeks. So that is just absolutely terrible in my opinion. And I think, look, when I watch Brentford play, right, a lot of the big chances are going to players like Wissa, and that does explain why Wissa is scoring so many goals, right? And that does explain why Mbeumo isn't really scoring goals. And also, I feel like Mbeumo is finding himself very wide. Now, look, for me, when I combine the form with the fixtures, it just makes sense to get rid of Bryan Mbeumo right now and bet against this player, especially because he's got such high ownership as well. And at my rank of 1.2 million, I feel like this is a move that could help me gain rank, right? Because I'm betting against someone that is highly owned, and I'm moving to someone like Jarrod Bowen, who is a massive differential. And speaking of Jarrod Bowen, right now he's 6.1% ownership, and look, the reason why I've gone for him is simple as this, guys. The fixtures are absolutely amazing, right? Absolutely amazing. Some of the teams that he's playing against are just really poor, and I think Leicester away is a great entry point. And then after that it's Wolves at home, and we've seen how bad the Wolves defense is, guys. And then after that it's Bournemouth, slightly trickier game, but then after that it's Brighton at home and then Southampton away. So I think these stretch of games here from Game Week 14 to Game Week 18, the fixtures for Jarrod Bowen look absolutely fantastic, and I just want him for that run. He's a massive differential. Also, during this sort of December period where there's a lot of games to be played on the weekend and midweek, you kind of want your 90-minute men, and Jarrod Bowen is exactly that. He also does take penalties depending on who's on the pitch as well. So I think there's a lot of positives for Jarrod Bowen. He's Premier League proven, he's reliable. We know that Bowen can get you goals and assists, right? So for me, it just makes sense to bring this player in. So yeah, I'm a massive fan of Jarrod Bowen, and I mean, it's already confirmed, right? I've already brought him in. So yeah, looking forward to owning him. I think he could be a great differential. Alright guys, with those transfers in mind, let's have a look at my Game Week 14 team selection, and we'll start things off with the goalkeeper and the 3 defenders. In goal, we've got David Raya, and then a back 3 of Gabriel, Nuri and Mikalenko. Now, as you guys know, as you guys can see, we've got double Arsenal defense playing against Manchester United at home. Now, I could bench Raya and start Fabianski, who's got a game against Leicester away from home, but I'm just not too sure I trust West Ham's defense. I don't know if I trust them, right? I really don't know. Maybe if West Ham were the home team, I would have considered it a bit more, but because they're away from home, Leicester got a new manager, I wouldn't be surprised if they do score a goal. So I think I'm just going to go all in on the double Arsenal defense. Now, look, it is going to be a tricky game for Arsenal, I think, but to be honest with you guys, look, Arsenal are the better team, right? They are the superior team. They're better than Manchester United, no doubt about it. But what I really am interested in to see is, how does Ruben Amorim set Manchester United up in this game, right? Is he going to look to sit in a deep block, put 11 men behind the ball? Is he going to look to come out and press Arsenal and just really go for the game? I don't know, right? I really don't know how Amorim is going to set this Manchester United team up. So I don't really know what to expect from this game overall. I don't really know if I should be expecting a clean sheet or not. All I do know is that Arsenal realistically should be winning the game, and they are realistically the better team, right? So we'll see what happens. But because Ruben Amorim hasn't been in charge for a long time, we've obviously not been able to see how Manchester United set up against, you know, the big guns, right? The big teams in the Premier League. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. But look, Arsenal, like I said, are clearly the superior team. Going forward, they look great. Defensively, they look good. And they're putting up some really, really good defensive numbers. So yeah, look, let's just see what happens. But with Arsenal being the home team as well, look, the game is massively in their favour. So look, I'm going all in with double Arsenal defence. So let's see if they get the clean sheet, I guess. And then we've got Nuri and Mykolenko, who are actually playing against each other. This is actually an interesting one because Everton haven't scored in their last 4 Premier League games. But we know that Wolves are so bad defensively. So if there's ever a time for Everton to end their goalless streak, it's in a game like now, because Wolves' defense is absolutely shocking. And I say this every week, guys. I've got Nuri in the team just for the attacking threat. I'm not really expecting a clean sheet, even though he's playing against a team that hasn't scored in the last 4 Premier League games. So look, I'm just hoping that Nuri can give me the attacking returns, because that's why he's in the team. In terms of Mykolenko, he's actually playing against one of my attackers. So I guess you could say I'm realistically hoping for like a 0-0 draw, to be honest with you guys, because I do have a Wolves attacker, but because I got, you know, a Wolves defender and an Everton defender, I guess a 0-0 wouldn't be too bad. But Everton defensively, their numbers haven't been too bad in recent weeks. I will be honest, right? Their defensive numbers have been pretty decent in the last 6 game weeks. I mean, look, I'll show you guys the XG table, right, for the last 6 Premier League games. As you guys can see, they actually rank 2nd, right, for expected goals conceded, which isn't too bad at all. So you guys can see the data does support Everton being quite a solid team recently, right? So look, I don't know what to expect from that game though. I'm not gonna lie, because yes, defensively Everton are decent, but going forward they're really, really bad. But then Wolves are so bad defensively, so I just don't know. I really don't know what to expect from this game, but hopefully I get some points from one of those 2 players. I need those points, to be honest with you. I do have Greaves on the bench, and I do have Mazraoui on the bench, but Mazraoui playing against Arsenal, there's no chance I'm going to play him. And Greaves playing against Crystal Palace, I don't know if he's going to start. Maybe if I was confident in a start, I would probably bench Mykolenko, just because I've got a Wolves attacker. But yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it as that, to be honest. I think I'm just going to leave it as that. So yeah, look, that is my defense. Let's move on to the midfield. Let's move on to the midfield 5. Now, in the midfield, we do have Bukayo Saka, Mohamed Salah, Smith Rowe, and Cole Palmer with Gerard Bowen. Now, look, Bukayo Saka, Manchester United at home, tricky fixture, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets attacking returns, because I think, look, Arsenal are so good. I said this already. With Odegaard back, they're looking so good, especially going forward, man. They're scoring goals for fun, right? 5-1 against Sporting, 5-2 against West Ham, just battering teams left, right, and centre. They really do look good with Odegaard back at the moment, and Saka is looking absolutely just amazing right now. So look, he will most likely get some FPL returns. That wouldn't really surprise me. But like I said, I am intrigued to see how Amorim will set Manchester United up in this game. Does he go for a more defensive approach, or does he look to play and press Arsenal? I'm not too sure, but either way, whether we deploy a more defensive setup or a pressing setup, I think it doesn't really matter what we do. I think Arsenal just got too much firepower with Odegaard and Saka. So yeah, I expect him to do something. And then we've got Mohamed Salah. Guys, I'm going to be honest, I'm actually not too confident on Mohamed Salah. I actually think this is going to be a very, very tricky game for Liverpool. And I wouldn't be surprised if they drop some points. I wouldn't be surprised if they drop some points in this game against Newcastle away. I think, look, Newcastle at home against the top Premier League sides, right? Like Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, right? When they're at home against these teams, they really do perform, and they actually do manage to get results in these type of games. So I think it's going to be a really tricky game for Liverpool. And yeah, man, like Newcastle, they beat Tottenham at home. They drew to Man City. They beat Arsenal as well at home. So look, Newcastle at home against the better teams in the Premier League really do perform. So I think this is going to be a tough game for Salah, even though he's in great form. I wouldn't be surprised if he blanks. Dare I say it? I wouldn't be surprised if Mohamed Salah blanks. That's just my personal opinion, because I think Newcastle away is a very, very tough game. A very, very tough game. No matter how good you are, away to St. James's Park, you're gonna struggle. You could struggle. So yeah, let's see what happens there. But yeah, you guys can see I'm not captaining Mohamed Salah. He's not even got the vice captain either, because I just think, yeah, Liverpool will struggle in that game. Then we've also got Smith Rowe against Brighton at home. I think the Brighton defense is poor. They should have lost against Southampton. I think Southampton got robbed. VAR absolutely just, yeah, an absolute disgrace, to be honest with you guys. That second goal from Cameron Archer definitely should have stood. And I've been saying this throughout the season. I think, look, Brighton attack is very, very good. They can score goals, they can hurt teams going forward, but defensively, I don't rate Brighton at all, really. I think they can be got at. And look, I hope Smith Rowe does play. He did play the majority of the game against Tottenham. I'm pretty sure he got 85 minutes, which is quite a lot of minutes. So I'm hoping that he won't get benched. I am hoping he won't get rotated. I'm hoping that he does start this game. So yeah, let's see what happens there. But look, I think it's a good game on paper for Smith Rowe. And then we've got Cole Palmer captain. Look, for me, he's the standout captaincy option this week, right? Southampton away from home is a really, really good fixture on paper. Southampton are missing Tyler Dibbling. I think they're missing Harwood Bellis as well. They're missing Ramsdale. So Southampton are missing key players, guys. They are missing key players. So with that being said, I think Cole Palmer, for me, standout captaincy option. He's got to go and get the job done, man. I'm hoping for multiple returns. That would be absolutely fantastic. But I feel like a lot of people will be putting the captain's armband on Cole Palmer this week. So yeah, hopefully he does the job. And then we also do have our new signing, Gerard Bowen, away to Leicester. I think on paper that's a great fixture. Of course, some would say maybe our Leicester going to have a new manager bounce, because this is going to be Ruud van Nistelrooy's first game in charge. I don't think it matters, man. I think Leicester are poor defensively, and this is a good start. I think West Ham recently, right, from an attacking point of view, haven't looked too bad. They haven't looked too bad, and they can score goals. Bowen, we know he's a really good player. So look, I think against Leicester, I think he can do it, man. I really do think he can do it. So yeah, look, that is the midfield. On paper, it's looking all right. It's not looking too bad. But let's move on to the front two, guys. We do have Danny Welbeck and Jurgen Strand-Larsen. And on the bench, we do have Alexander Isak. And I actually have seen recently, right, at the time of recording, Eddie Howe has confirmed that Isak is fit to play against Liverpool. So there is the chance that I could start Alexander Isak. And I actually I want to say this quickly. I was actually thinking about starting Alexander Isak and actually benching Mohamed Salah. And I know that sounds crazy, but I really do. Look, I think Liverpool are the best team in the league, no doubt about it. They are absolutely fantastic. But a part of me does think that Newcastle come away with something from that game, whether it's a win or a draw. And for that reason, a part of me does want to actually start Alexander Isak and bench Mo Salah. I know it sounds crazy. And I'm not going to do it, right? Because that is absolutely insane. I'm not going to do it. But I just have a feeling inside of me that, you know, Newcastle could even win the game and Isak could score. I don't know why. I really don't know why, but I just think Newcastle at home against the big teams, they just play so well. So yeah, look, I'm probably going to bench Isak, but if he scores, just remember I called it. That's all I'm going to say. Just remember I called it, but I've not got big enough balls to actually go through with benching Salah and starting Isak. So yeah, it is what it is, but Isak is going to be holding the bench this week. But I'm just glad that he's fit to play. That is the main thing. Isak is fit to play, which is really good, because I will want him starting in Gameweek 15. But yeah, Danny Welbeck, Strand-Larsen, I think both have decent games. Strand-Larsen against Everton away, like I said with Mikalenko, right? Everton defensively actually have been pretty solid. Obviously, they got destroyed by Manchester United. But overall, right, in recent times for like the last 6 games or so, they have been pretty decent defensively. They've picked up a few clean sheets during that time as well. So I think for Strand-Larsen, it could possibly be a tough game. But I think Wolves also do have that firepower, man. Matheus Cunha, Strand-Larsen, those two are just really good players, and they can hurt defenders, right? They can hurt teams and they can score goals. So it's an interesting one, but for me, it's like if Strand-Larsen scores, then I lose points from Mikalenko. If Mikalenko gets a clean sheet, then I lose points from Strand-Larsen. So yeah, I can't really win in this situation. So yeah, let's just see what happens with that. And we do have Danny Welbeck as well playing against Fulham away from home. I think it's going to be a tricky game, but Fulham, although they have decent defensive numbers, right, they just find a way to concede every single time. So I wouldn't be surprised if Brighton do score. And like I said, right, Brighton do have that firepower. They can hurt teams, and going forward, they are really good. So Danny Welbeck, man, he is on fraud watch though. I'm not gonna lie, he is starting to be. I'm putting him on fraud watch. That's all I'm gonna say, because he hasn't scored in the last two games for me. And he blanked against Southampton. He blanked against against Bournemouth. I need some goals now, right? I need some goals. It's as simple as that. So hopefully Danny Welbeck can do his thing. Hopefully he can get on the score sheet. But look, guys, that is how my team is looking for Game Week 14. Yeah, hopefully we get another green arrow, man. I hope this is the start, right? I hope Game Week 13 was the start of consecutive green arrows to come. So hopefully, yeah, we have another good week. Let's just see what happens. But with that being said, guys, that is it now for my Game Week 14 team selection. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on post notifications as well. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry if this was a little bit rushed, right? I needed to get this video out as soon as possible because of the quick turnaround, and I've been so busy with work and other things, right? So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Smash a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment down below how your team is looking as well for Game Week 14. But with that being said, guys, I'm gonna end it here, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, I'm out. Peace.